Well, today's a pretty interesting day in Canadian news and Canadian politics. We actually have some good news, and then we also have a decent or tremendous amount of bad news, as per usual, may I add. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you all to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. And just a reminder that I do have an extra channel for all the stuff that I can't cram into videos on this channel. I'll link it down below in the description or the pinned comment below. This is what it looks like. Mr. Sunshine Extra. Make sure you go over there and subscribe to catch more of the stories, more of the news of what's happening here in Canada. Without further ado, let's start off with some good news for a change. Notorious BC serial killer Robert Pickton is dead following a prison attack. He was put in a coma recently. I think it's because there was he was coming out on parole or something was happening in the coming months, and it took all this time for him to finally get the beatdown in prison, in which a lot of people rightfully think that he deserves. And as you read through the comments, inmates doing what Canada should have done in the first place. Good riddance. That's a shame, Jerry Seinfeld says. Let's take a look at what the CTV video has to say.
All right, welcome back. We are following breaking news now coming in. One of our country's most notorious serial killers, Robert Pickton, has died. Pickton found guilty of killing at least 6 women, but was charged in connection with the deaths of many, many more. He'd been serving a prison time in Quebec, but was attacked earlier this month while in prison. Had been clinging to life in a medically induced coma after he was attacked by another inmate. Again, Pickton convicted of 6 counts of second-degree murder, but charged with the deaths of 26 women, and once bragged to an undercover officer that he had killed as many as 49 women, all of it in British Columbia. Many of his victims were Indigenous, and they had disappeared from Vancouver's notorious downtown East Side neighborhood. Pickton's crimes sent shockwaves right across Canada, and it also resulted in an inquiry that slammed police in British Columbia for their failure to stop him sooner. But they had missed a lot of warning signs and red flags about Robert Pickton, which allowed him to continue his crime spree. 74 years old, Robert Pickton has died, according to Correctional Services of Canada.
Well, there you have it, folks. It seems like Canada is a bit of a safer place after that. So good job, everybody. Speaking of safer place, you have some people on the East Coast who to be the bad guy who are not feeling too great. There's an international student protest that's taking place. I've covered that a little bit previously on the channel, and the paramedics have had to attend because some of them have passed out from their hunger strike. They've gone on a complete hunger strike to raise more awareness for the lack of government, I guess, attention to detail for their visas. They're coming here as student on student visas, and they now seem to have difficulty getting permanent residency, and it seems like they have to leave, and now they've gone on strike, and oopsie daisy, they found themselves needing some medical attention. Not very good there. Pierre Poilievre's taking some pot shots here at the Liberal MPs. Liberal Health Minister Mark Collins says families taking their kids for a road trip this summer are letting the planet burn. This man is a wacko. This is a pretty good clip.
The Honourable Minister of Health.
Mr. Speaker, good news, kids. You can take a summer fun time vacation where you're locked in a car for 10 consecutive days, nonstop with no bathroom breaks, and the Conservatives have a plan for you to have that summertime fun. And the cost? Give up the future of the planet, right? Don't worry, kids, about climate change. Don't worry about taking action on the planet. Enjoy your 10 hours in the car and let the planet burn.
It's funny because the Liberals rarely show any sort of enthusiasm, and it seems like they're finally starting to look alive, right, so to speak. But it's not really working in their favor, and they seem to get themselves hyped up in their little yes man bubble that they're doing a good job and that, yeah, that was a great singer, buddy. But it really doesn't reflect that way, and that's why they're tanking in the polls. And that's why on the flip side of things, you have always a massive turnout and massive amount of support for Pierre Poilievre everywhere he shows up, because he's doing a great job. This right here is a great little video where Pierre Poilievre showed up at a charity boxing match that Ben Bankus, a Canadian comedian Ben Bankus, was commenting at. Here we go. up here making a special guest appearance, which, by the way, is kind of funny because the last time Justin Trudeau showed up in a boxing ring, he kind of got his butt kicked. Speaking of getting their butt kicked, we have Alberta's question period is kind of going a little bit viral here. You have Danielle Smith taking the floor and doubling down on the fact that, you know, transgender affirming care and puberty blockers and things of sorts should not be given to minors under the age of 18 or 16. Let's take a look at this clip.
Honorable the Premier, Mr. Speaker, the member opposite knows that is not what our policy proposal is about. It is about allowing children to grow to an age where they understand the consequences of decisions that they're making, rather than making decisions that might prevent them from being able to have children of their own one day. We absolutely support the right of every individual, including transgender individuals, to be who they're going to be, to become who they want to be, to have the medical care there for them when they do make that transition. We just want to make sure that it's being done at an age that is appropriate and they can bear the consequences of those decisions.
There you go. That's awesome. I mean, a lot of people think that these policies should be in place throughout all of Canada. And I'll kind of pass the question off to you. How do you feel about Alberta really taking that stand and putting these rules in place to protect our minors? And should it extend to all of Canada? Let me know down below what you guys think. Next up, we have Rob Schneider, a famous comedian and also actor who is coming to Alberta. I'm in Edmonton, Canada, the Justin Trudeau free province of Alberta, at the River Cree Casino. One show tomorrow night, which would be tonight, May 31st. So pretty cool. He's been very vocal about, you know, standing up to Justin Trudeau and how Justin Trudeau is just a piece of garbage. So if you like Rob and you're in that area, I'd highly recommend you go and you check that out. You also have Doug Ford, who's back in the news, who doubles down and sticks with what he said yesterday or the day prior, where he kind of threatened all of the immigrants that are trying to come to Canada in something that a lot of people are thinking no one has said until he said it, where he actually looked at the cameras and said, if you're thinking about Canada or coming to Canada and you're committing crime or breaking our rules and causing a stink, don't come to Canada, which is incredible.
Hey, I'm Henry Ford. Quick question with both of you. A lot of the opposition at Queen's Park are asking you to apologize after yesterday's comments. Having a day to sleep on it, your response to that?
You know, something I stick with what I said. We're tired of lawlessness from anyone. It doesn't matter you're here, you're new, or whatever. It's very, very clear. My phone is blowing up from every community saying you're bang on. People are tired of getting their doors kicked in, guns put to their head. People here in Brampton that are being extorted, which I've never seen before. Enough's enough. 99.9% of everyone gets along, and that's what I believe in. And there's no premier ever that's went on the news 10 million times. I want more people coming to Canada. We need the people. I love every single community equally.
Those aren't all immigrants. Those aren't all immigrants, Premier. Can you just clarify what you mean?
I think that there needs to be a bit more of a stand that our government takes provincially and federally to stand up to immigration. Immigration historically hasn't been a bad thing. It's been quite good. It's needed to grow an economy and fill positions that need filling. However, Canada's approach has not been very good, which brings us to our next point right here. You have a statistic that seems to be trending quite a bit on X. Given the current trends, as of today, about 7% of Canadian residents' population is now a permanent resident. Their share of the population has more than tripled since 2016. And you can see the massive rise in the past several years. And it's taking a massive, massive toll on our infrastructure, our economy here in Canada. You even have Elon Musk that has replied to this going, wow. And the reply to Elon Musk's comment was, the more I dig into the data, the worse it looks for Canada, unfortunately. And this is just, it's horrible what's happening, man. You're flooding the country. It has nothing to do with being racist towards certain demographics. It has to do with we don't have the infrastructure. Like, it's not simple. We don't have enough houses. If you stop immigration today, we still don't have enough houses for our own the population in Canada, it's going to take years for that to get fixed, but they keep bringing people in as if we're building houses, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We don't have the road infrastructure. We don't have the grid infrastructure to house this many people, to have this many more people added to our population. We don't have the housing infrastructure. There's so many things that we're lacking. One of the biggest ones is common sense in our government. And Elon Musk has been pretty vocal about his feelings towards Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Canada. You have this tweet here that had gone pretty viral not too long ago, where Elon Musk mocks Justin Trudeau, posts real photos as unfair AI generated ones. And obviously he was making a joke because Justin Trudeau has worn all of these things, including, but not limited to, the blackface one, which is just absolutely crazy that our prime minister, like, just think about it for a second. Our prime minister is a known racist. He guises himself as a feminist. And we all know that that's not true. Yet somehow he's still the leader of a country, which is mind-blowing. That's not the first time Elon Musk takes pot shots at Justin Trudeau and criticizes Canada and our failures. There's this older video here, not too old, of Elon Musk doing that and going after how Trudeau is just pretty much crushing free speech in Canada.
Coming in, and this is also with regards to Canada, wherein Elon Musk has accused Justin Trudeau of crushing free speech in Canada. Why? Well, SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk has slammed Justin Trudeau government in Canada for crushing free speech in the country. And his remark has come in the wake of a recent order from the Canadian government, which makes it compulsory for online streaming services to formally register with the government for regulatory controls. Now, the Canadian government, armed with one of the world's most repressive online censorship schemes, announces that all online streaming services that offer podcasts must formally register with the government to permit regulatory controls. This is the breaking piece of information that we are receiving. And what has happened is the particular tweet that has come in from Elon Musk also has the attachment that says, which was the news release, wherein CRTC takes a major step forward to modernizing Canada's broadcasting framework. And what they had said there is that this is a regulatory plan that they're coming up with to modernize Canada's broadcasting framework and to ensure that online streaming services make meaningful contributions to Canadian and Indigenous content.
Yeah, I mean, that's just backfiring on all fronts. The way that Canada is trying to make Canada like singularly about Canada, our ecosystem, yet they don't even consider pausing immigration. They're flooding it with all these different cultures, which is great. I mean, Canada's multicultural aspect and landscape is pretty cool. Like, you can experience a lot of different cultures in the major cities of Canada. But it doesn't seem like when they're trying to do the CRTC thing and they're trying to make all content online only Canadian made and Canadian produced, it's only harming people in Canada. You should have access. You can't put borders on the internet. The internet was not designed for that, yet here we are facing these struggles, and it's just absolutely horrible. And we're at risk of losing everything, almost like what America is experiencing right now. This is a clip of Biden doing a press conference where he's asked, Mr. President, can you tell us, Sir Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? This is horrifying. Let's take a quick look at this here.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you tell us, sir, Donald Trump refers to himself as a political prisoner and blames you directly. What's your response to that, sir? Do you think the conviction will have an impact on the campaign? We'd love to hear your thoughts, sir.
Should he be on the ballot, sir?
Little sly grin there.
That evil smirk, man. I mean, these people are destroying our economy. They're destroying our freedoms. They're destroying everything right in front of our eyes. And they are absolutely laughing about it. And then when they go to complain, such as this clip of the Canadian Green Party leader, Elizabeth May, who's also referred to as Dizzy Lizzy because she, did a speech under the influence of a significant amount of alcohol, allegedly. Baby. She says that the rise of right-wing populist governments represent a direct threat to the planetary survival and allows ecocide. Yeah, right. Let's take a look at this.
Curious about the international angle. I know that you're mostly talking about the law within Canada, but we have seen Ukraine raise ecocide, talking about going back to Chernobyl, looking at the explosion of the dam last year. I'm just wondering if you had any reflection, the MPs and the groups here present today on, using ecocide in the context of international law when it comes to within wars themselves, if this is something Canada should advocate for, because it seems like Ukraine is concerned about the poisoning of its environment and not just the actual casualties.
Appreciate you raising the issue that for Ukraine, the legacy of Chernobyl is one that threatens their environment and their health, and it isn't when you are also in an active conflict zone where the toxic radioactive sarcophagus of Chernobyl continues to represent a threat. That is both ecocide and potential war crime as well. So there are some conflation of concerns here, but Ukraine is right to raise this, and we should do everything possible to support Ukraine, protect democracies, because I would say that while we're focused in this press conference on the threat of ecocide and recognizing it under the Rome Statute, I think we also recognize that protecting our environment globally requires healthy and functional democracies, and the rise of right-wing populist governments all around the world and declines in democracy are also a direct threat to our survival on this planet.
Yeah, right, man. With these left-wing radical activists, economies tank, people are poorer, and crime goes absolutely rampant in the streets because they don't take anything seriously. It's all about feelings and emotions and optics. It's not about getting the job done. It's horrible. Speaking of getting the job done, it seems like it's going to take a little bit longer to get the job done for an election here in Canada. That's right. The Liberals are actually planning on delaying the next election even further. Absolutely insane. Let's take a look at this CTV video here. They've already threatened to do this once or pushed it back a week or 2 weeks, and there's a lot of speculation as to why. And it seems like they are trying to make sure that certain Liberal MPs who know with 100% certainty that they will not get reelected in their by-elections, they will not be reelected as a federal MP, but in order to preserve their pensions, because you have to hit a certain amount of days as an MP or a certain amount of years, right? And it's just like, come on, you're going to delay an election so that a few people can get a payout for the rest of their life? That's not how real life works.
We have new reporting tonight about the federal government's push to change when Canadians head to the polls. October 20th, 2025 is the current fixed election date, but the change would see the vote take place a week later. The Liberals say to avoid a conflict with Diwali, a major religious holiday. But for dozens of MPs, there would be an additional benefit. Joining me now is CTV's senior digital parliamentary reporter, Rachel Aiello. And Rachel, what are you learning tonight?
Omar, pushing back the election even by 1 day would secure pensions for up to 80 MPs. MPs that otherwise might not hit the 6 years of service needed to qualify. And if MPs who were first elected in 2019 are defeated on the next fixed date, well, they'd miss out on that sizable perk. Annual starting pensions range from $32,000 to $49,000, and should all of these MPs lose their seats, taxpayers could be on the hook for up to $120 million. The Conservatives, already opposed to delaying the campaign, have the most who stand to benefit, with 32 elected in 2019. Pensions are also on the line for 22 Liberals, more than half of the bloc, NDP MPs, 6 of them, and 1 independent. Today we learned that the NDP will try to scrap this change from a key electoral reform bill. Now that's legislation they helped draft, this potentially putting the Liberals in a position of having to turn to the bloc for support. But with pressure rising on all MPs to back away from this move, Trudeau could be forced to back down. In a statement to CTV News, the minister responsible says they tried to work around multiple conflicts on the fall 2025 calendar, making October 27th the best option. Debate kicks off tomorrow with the Liberals saying they're still open to hearing better ideas.
Like, these people are changing actual rules within a democracy, within a government, in a first world country, apparently, in order for a few people, like a few dozen, right? Potentially 80 people to get pensions. And the Conservatives, who have the most to lose, are against this because that's not how real life works. You don't get to change these types of rules that affect only a few people like that because you have the ability or the potential ability to do that. It's so corrupt. Like, how could anybody out there who supports NDP or even the Liberals support that? It doesn't make any sense at all. And this type of behavior is exactly why these idiots in power are allowing the series of next clips I'm about to show you to even happen in Canada. Here's an update on all the Hamas or Palestine protests here. This one's in Vancouver, where they're blocking a railroad in East Vancouver. Like, come on, man. How many times does this need to happen for the government to actually take this a little bit more seriously? And then you also have somebody who was masked, who's apparently a pro-Hamas protester who stopped a bunch of cop cars in downtown Toronto. Now his mask has been removed and people know who he is, yet still no action has been taken. And then you have Israeli counter-protesters that are putting their stickers on the encampment of the UFT Palestine Hamas protests. And then you also have other Israeli protesters that are rollerblading around campus with, Hamas. This one says Hamas sucks dick. There you go. Yeah, no hiding it. Absolutely no hiding it. And Justin Trudeau just recently tweeted this morning that a synagogue in Vancouver was attacked last night in another disgusting act of anti-Semitism. We cannot let this hate or these acts of violence stand. This is not the Canada we want to be. And this just happened a day after there was another anti-Semitic attack. There was a shooting that happened at a Jewish school, I believe, and even though it was at night. I think it was in Toronto or something like that. That happened yesterday or the day prior. I posted this response. You brag about bringing in thousands of people who hate Jews, and then you're shocked when Jews are attacked. Are you mentally unwell? And I kind of censored myself. I wanted to ask him if he was something else because it just seems crazy. Canada still stands very firmly, well, the government at least, the corrupt government stands firmly with bringing in 5,000 families or 5,000 people from Gaza as refugees. Yet those people directly have a deep-rooted hate with the Jewish community and anyone who is of Jewish descent. And as you're seeing, I'm not exactly sure. It seems to be a little buried, the demographic of the people that are doing these shootings at Jewish schools, that are attacking Jewish people. But one can only assume that they're of a certain demographic. Probably the ones that don't like the Jewish people or that heritage and the ones that are at war with Jews. But I don't know. It just seems all a little sketchy to me that Justin Trudeau will be bringing in all of these people that hate each other and then complain that they're continuing the hate here in Canada. It's not looking very good, which is why Doug Ford said the other day, if you're planning on coming to Canada, don't come to Canada if you plan on causing a stink, which obviously no one's going to listen. The only thing to listen to is if we pause immigration. Let's just give it a try. But what do I know? Just looking at statistics every day of things getting worse in Canada. But I would love to know what you guys think down below in the comments about any of the topics that were covered in this video. That's where we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. On your way out, I'd like to encourage you guys one last time to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and go outside. Go enjoy the rest of your Friday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye for now.